The alarm goes off. It's 6:30 a.m. You hit snooze. You drag yourself out of bed. You sit in traffic. You get to a desk where you stay until the sun goes down.
And you do this over and over and over.
For 40 years. And the whole time, the promise is, just hang in there. At 65, maybe 70, then you finally get to relax. Then you own your time.
It's what people call the deferred life plan. And it's the default setting for almost everyone. We trade our best years, our health, our energy for a payoff that might not even come.
That is a terrifying way to frame it, but it's dead on. And that brings us to today's deep dive. We are tearing that entire script apart. We're digging into a whole stack of notes on Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek. And I know what you're thinking, 4 hours, come on. It sounds like one of those spammy internet ads, right?
Oh, absolutely. The title is total clickbait, and Ferriss himself even admits that. But if you can get past the title, this isn't really a book about, productivity hacks. It's a manifesto. It challenges the biggest assumption we have, that your time has to be a direct trade for money.
Exactly. And that's where this idea of the new rich comes in.
Yeah.
Because when we hear rich, we picture the guy with the yacht and the Ferrari.
And the 80-hour work weeks that got him there, and the stress that comes with it. That's the old rich. The old rich are obsessed with net worth. They have a ton of money, but they have zero time. They're basically chained to their jobs, even if they own the company.
Versus the new rich, or the NR, as he calls them.
Yes. The new rich might actually have less money in the bank, but they have the real currencies, which are time and mobility. They control the when, the where, and the how of their lives.
I think you put it perfectly before we started. It's about relative income, isn't it?
It's all relative. I mean, if you make $100,000 a year working 80 hours a week in New York City, you are, relatively speaking, poor. Compared to the person making $50,000 working 10 hours a week from, say, Thailand. That second person has freedom. They are the new rich.
So that's our mission today. We're going to unpack the formula for this. Ferriss uses this acronym, DEAL.
Definition, elimination, automation, and liberation.
It sounds like some kind of secret agent protocol.
It kind of is. It's a protocol for escaping the 9-to-5 matrix. It's a step-by-step guide to go from just surviving to actually designing your life.
Okay, let's jump in with D for definition. This seems like it starts with a pretty hard look in the mirror.
It does. It starts by completely redefining wealth. The source material argues that most people, well, they never actually define what they want. They just follow the script. We say we want more money, but we have no idea what that money is for.
It's just hoarding.
Yeah.
Generic pile of cash.
It's fear. We hoard because we don't have a specific plan. So the new rich, they define the destination first. He has this process called dreamlining, where you calculate the actual monthly cost of your ideal life. And the amazing thing is, it's almost always way lower than people think. You don't need millions in the bank to live like a millionaire. You just need the cash flow to cover the experiences.
One of the things that really jumped out at me here was the idea of unrealistic goals. The book basically says being realistic is a trap.
This is such a great point. It's totally counterintuitive. The logic is that, 99% of people are convinced they can't achieve great things, so they all aim for the middle.
It's crowded in the middle.
It's a bloodbath in the middle. The competition for average jobs in an average life is insane. But if you set a goal that seems unrealistic, like, I want to run my business from a laptop in Argentina, there's almost no competition. Everyone else has already decided it's impossible.
I love that. So step one is definition. Figure out the life you want and what it actually costs.
Yeah.
But then you hit a wall, right? And you realize you have no time for it because you're buried in emails. Which brings us to E.
Elimination. And I have to say, this is where it gets really uncomfortable for a lot of people. This isn't about doing more in less time. It's about doing a lot less.
The source material literally says time management is dead. That's a pretty bold claim.
It is, because time management is usually just about cramming more stuff into your day. Ferriss says being busy is actually a form of laziness. It's lazy thinking. We use busyness as a shield to avoid the big, scary, important stuff.
Okay, let's play devil's advocate here for a second. If I just stop doing 80% of my work, I'm going to get fired.
Oh.
I can't just tell my boss, sorry, that report is in the 80% stuff that doesn't really matter.
And that's the fear, right? But this is about applying the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule, ruthlessly. 80% of your results are coming from 20% of your activities. You're probably doing a lot of, let's call it crutch work.
Performance theater.
Exactly. Checking email, sitting in useless meetings, shuffling things around just to look productive. The goal is to focus only on that 20% that actually moves the needle. And if you're an employee, the strategy is to prove you deliver more value in less time, and then you negotiate for remote work based on output, not hours spent in a chair.
So you have to make yourself undeniable first.
You have to deliver, yeah. But you can't deliver if you're drowning in noise, which is where the low information diet comes in.
Selective ignorance. I have to admit, this one really hit home for me. We're all addicted to information.
We are. The advice is to just cut it out. The news, the gossip, the endless scrolling. If it doesn't directly help you reach your goals, it's just noise. It's just consuming your mental energy.
And the single biggest source of that noise is the email inbox. The book's advice here is pretty extreme. Check email twice a day.
Twice. Once around 11 a.m., once around 4 p.m. That's it.
Listeners are probably hyperventilating right now, but I have to be responsive.
But do you? Or have you just trained people to expect you to be? The tactic is simple. Set up an autoresponder. To be more productive, I'm checking email at 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. If this is an emergency, call me.
That feels so risky.
It feels risky, but what you find is that 99% of emergencies just sort of resolve themselves. You stop being a reactive firefighter and you start actually doing your work.
So elimination is about clearing the decks. You've defined the life, you've freed up the time. But now comes the big problem. If you're not working, you're not getting paid. That brings us to A.
Automation. This is the big shift. It's moving from you working for money to a system working for you.
This is the passive income dream. But I want to be careful here because that term gets thrown around so much.
Yeah.
What does Ferriss actually mean by it?
He makes a really important distinction between a startup and what he calls a muse. A startup is high stress, high effort. You're trying to change the world. A muse is a low maintenance business designed for one thing, to fund your lifestyle.
So you're not trying to be the next Steve Jobs. You're just trying to sell like a very specific type of yoga mat to a niche audience.
Precisely. The goal is cash flow, not a billion-dollar exit. And the absolute key to automation is removing yourself as the bottleneck.
Which brings up delegation and virtual assistants, VAs. I mean, the book was way ahead of its time on this.
It really was. Now it's pretty common, but the mindset block is still huge for people.
It's the trust issue, isn't it? I'm not just going to give my credit card in my inbox to some stranger online.
That's the barrier. So the advice is to start small. Give them a simple research task, something that doesn't require sensitive info. But the rule is, if a task has to be done and it's not your unique strength, you have to get it off your plate.
There's a big psychological hurdle there, too. It's just ego. No one can do this as well as I can.
And that might even be true. Maybe the VA is only 80% as good as you are. But if they cost $10 an hour and your time should be worth $100 an hour, you're literally losing money every time you do that task yourself.
It's the cost of perfectionism.
Exactly. Automation's about being the architect, not the operator. If your business dies the second you go on vacation, you don't own a business, you own a job.
Okay. So we've defined the dream, we've eliminated the clutter, we've built the income engine. Now comes the payoff. L for liberation.
Liberation. This is about breaking that final chain. The location bond.
The idea that work has to happen in one specific place.
Right. Once you have an income stream that isn't tied to your physical presence, you're free. And this is where the magic of geo-arbitrage happens.
Geo-arbitrage. Earning in a strong currency, like dollars, and spending in a weaker one.
It's just basic economics for your lifestyle. If
Yeah.
you earn $4,000 a month in San Francisco, you're struggling. If you earn that same $4,000 a month in Bali or Buenos Aires, you are living like royalty.
This leads to the idea of mini retirements. Instead of working for 40 years to retire once when you're old.
You take retirements throughout your life, 1 to 6 months at a time. You relocate, you don't just visit. And this is key. It's not a vacation. A vacation is an escape from a life you don't like. A mini retirement is about actively living your life, just in a new place.
But let's be real.